The morning began quietly over Earth. The sky over the Pacific Ocean was calm, and sunlight touched the waves with a soft glow. No one knew that everything was about to change. On orbital station Horizon, Commander Brooks studied long-range sensor readings. He had spent many years watching deep space for any danger. He never expected the danger to appear so fast and so close. Sat in his command chair, drinking stale coffee while screens around him showed routine reports. The station crew moved calmly at their stations. Nothing seemed unusual until the first alarm sounded. It was sharp and urgent, echoing through the control room. Everyone froze. "Unknown signatures detected," one of the officers said. Her voice shook slightly. "Multiple large objects approaching the solar system at high speed. They do not match any known design." Stood up slowly, put them on the main screen. When the image appeared, the room fell silent. Strange dark shapes moved through space with unnatural speed. They were huge, shaped like jagged blades. Their surfaces glowed with an eerie blue energy that looked alive. The sight of them felt wrong, like something that should not exist. "How soon until they reach us?" asked. "Minutes," the officer replied. Felt the weight of the moment. Whatever those ships were, they had not come peacefully. He ordered an emergency alert to Earth. Klaxons blared through the station as crew hurried to battle positions. Sent a message to every base. "Prepare for unknown hostile forces. This is not a drill." On Earth, scientist Laura was working at the Pacific Research Facility. She examined data from gravitational sensors placed across the planet. The new readings confused her. Strange waves appeared out of nowhere, as if space itself was shaking. Laura pushed her glasses up her nose and leaned closer. "This cannot be natural," she whispered. Her colleague Carter walked in holding a tablet. "Did you see the new spike? It almost broke the system." Before Laura could answer, the facility speakers turned on with the emergency broadcast from. The message repeated through every speaker, warning of approaching hostile forces. Laura and looked at each other, fear building in their eyes. "We have to get this data to the defense network," Laura said, grabbing her tablet. "These waves must be connected to those ships." Nodded and hurried after her. Far above them, the alien fleet reached Earth's orbit. Without warning, they fired. Beams of energy shot across space and tore through the closest defense satellites. Explosions lit the darkness. Orbital station Horizon shook violently as an energy blast passed nearby. "Shields failing," an officer shouted. "Return fire," ordered. But their weapons were too weak. The alien ships moved with impossible agility, dodging every projectile. Their energy beams sliced through human defenses like paper, felt helpless watching the destruction. This enemy did not want peace. They came to destroy. The aliens broadcast a message. It was not in any known language, yet somehow the station systems translated it automatically. The voice was cold and mechanical. "Your kind is an unnecessary variable. Your survival is not required. Prepare for elimination." Clenched his fists. "Not required, we'll see about that." On Earth, chaos erupted. Major cities activated evacuation alarms. Families rushed to underground shelters. Aircraft scrambled from military bases. The streets filled with fear and uncertainty. Everyone looked to the sky, where faint lights flickered as the battle raged above. Laura and reached the command bunker that had been built deep underground. Guards rushed them inside. Screens filled the walls, showing battlefield data and burning wreckage in orbit. The situation was worse than anyone expected. "Commander Brooks, this is Laura from Pacific Research," she said through the communicator. "The alien weapons are creating unstable gravitational waves. If we understand them better, we might find a weakness." His voice crackled through the speaker. "Send everything you have. We need any advantage." As Laura sent the data, another explosion shook the bunker. Everyone ducked instinctively. The feed from orbit showed one of Earth's largest defense ships breaking apart. Its pieces burned in the atmosphere. "They are testing us," Laura said softly. Her voice trembled now. "They are not trying to conquer quickly. They are studying how we react. They want to see how we fight." Nodded, like hunters testing prey. Heard their words and felt something heavy settle in his chest. This enemy was not here to negotiate. This enemy believed humanity did not deserve to exist. "We're not prey," said quietly to himself. Another alarm rang through the bunker. "Sir, Lunar Base Echo sent a final transmission," an officer said. "Patching it through now." The screen lit up with a damaged video feed. Sparks rained in the background. A young soldier spoke into the camera. "This is Lunar Base Echo. We are under heavy attack. The enemy calls itself the Collective. They say we are a problem to be removed. If anyone receives this, fight back. Do not let them erase us." Before the feed ended, a bright flash filled the screen. Then nothing. The room was silent. Even had no words for a moment. Finally, he straightened his shoulders and spoke into the global channel. "This is Commander Brooks. All forces prepare for full defense operations. Civilians proceed to shelters. We will not let them decide the fate of Earth. We will stand together." Around the world, soldiers prepared for the worst. Pilots rushed to their fighters. Medics supplies. Engineers worked to restore damaged systems. Fear was everywhere, but so was determination. In space, the galaxy watched. Alien nations far away received the broadcast of the attacking Earth. They saw the explosions, the broken ships, the desperate human defenses. Many of them had feared them for years. Now they watched silently as humanity faced the same threat. No one dared to interfere. Back on Earth, Laura studied the gravitational data again, her hands shaking but her mind sharp. "There must be something here," she whispered. "Some clue, some weakness." Placed a hand on her shoulder. "We'll find it, we have to." As the alien fleet prepared for another wave of attacks, gave the command for every remaining defense system to fire. Missiles and laser turrets launched upward, streaking into space. Bright trails lit the sky. The battle had begun again. Earth shook as impacts rained down. Debris fell from the sky like burning stars. But humanity did not break. Each attack only strengthened their resolve. Watched the battlefield from his station. "They think we're weak," he muttered. "They think we're alone. They have no idea who they're dealing with." On the surface, Laura found a strange pattern in the gravitational waves. It pulsed like a heartbeat. She realized something important. "Look at this," she said. "Their energy weapons cause spacetime to twist before impact. If we can predict the twist, we might block it." His eyes widened. "This could save us." "Send it to Commander Brooks," Laura ordered. Received the message and immediately forwarded it to defense engineers. "Begin testing her model. If it works, we can shield the bunkers and maybe even the orbital defenses." Another explosion rattled orbital station horizon. Panels burst and lights flickered. Officers held onto their stations as alarms screamed. "We cannot take many more hits," someone shouted. Ignored the fear around him. "Hold your positions. Earth is counting on us." Then something unexpected happened. One of the alien ships slowed down. Its energy core pulsed erratically. Small green lights flashed along its hull, zoomed in. "Is it damaged?" he wondered aloud. As they watched, the ship drifted away from formation and began to fall toward Earth's gravity. It had been hit by one of the new bursts. "Target its engines," ordered. Fired in unison. The alien ship exploded in a wave of blue light. For the first time since the attack began, humanity destroyed a ship. Cheers erupted across the command centers on Earth. Even allowed himself a small smile. "We can hurt them," he said quietly. But the victory was small. The rest of the fleet adjusted their positions and prepared a stronger assault, saw the patterns forming and knew they were about to strike harder. "Brace for impact," he warned. Laura felt the ground shake. She closed her eyes for a moment, steadying herself. "We survived this long," she whispered. "We will keep going. Humans do not stop." Outside, the sky glowed with bright streaks of fire. The battle continued with terrifying force, but Earth still stood. Humanity still fought. The galaxy watched. And somewhere deep within the fleet, alien commanders reconsidered their first assumption. Humanity was not an easy variable. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was something else entirely. And the battle was only beginning. The smoke of burning metal still hung in Earth's upper atmosphere as the first day of the attack ended. The ships floated above like dark shadows, their blue lights glowing coldly against the darkness of space. Even though humanity had destroyed one enemy ship, the threat was far from over. They had only begun. Brooks stood inside the emergency command bunker beneath Nevada. Screens showed battle reports, damage alerts, and rescue maps of broken cities. Officers moved quickly from one station to another, trying to keep pace with the chaos. "Status on our defenses?" asked. "We have lost nearly a third of the orbital stations," an officer replied. "But ground defenses are active and shelters are stable. Civilian losses are still being counted." Closed his eyes for a moment. He felt the weight of every life lost. He wished he could be everywhere at once, but he knew he could only push forward. Laura entered the bunker with Carter beside her. Both looked tired but focused. "Commander Brooks," Laura said, "we think we found something that can help us." "Turn toward them, tell me." Laura showed him her tablet. "The weapons create predictable waves in spacetime. If we time our shields with those waves, we might reduce the impact of their attacks. We tested it on a small scale just now." She pointed to the data. "It worked for a few seconds, but we need to build stronger systems." Added, "If we can match their energy patterns, we might stop their strongest weapon from tearing our defenses apart. It will not be perfect, but it will be something." Nodded, "Every advantage matters. Send the designs to our engineers. We will start building at once." The engineers on the surface and in orbit received the plans immediately. Many of them, like Brooks' younger sister, worked without rest. She tightened bolts, rewired panels, and double-checked every piece of equipment. "How long until we can test the new shields?" asked her team. "An hour if we work fast," someone replied. Wiped the sweat from her forehead. "Then let's not waste a second." While humans worked to strengthen their defenses, they prepared their next move. Their ships shifted formation around Earth. Energy gathered at the center of their fleet, glowing brighter every minute. Looked at the readings. "They are charging something big." Laura felt a chill. That must be their main weapon. If they fire it, the shields we have now will not survive. Heard them and contacted every base. "Prepare for an extreme impact. All stations, reinforce shields with whatever power you have. All fighters return to safe distance." The ground shook as energy built in the sky. People in underground shelters held onto each other. Children cried softly. Parents tried to stay calm, even though they felt the same fear. Then the fired. For a moment, the sky turned white. A loud shockwave spread across the atmosphere. The shields around Earth flickered like dying lights. "Hold," whispered under his breath. Massive energy crashed into the defense grid. Parts of the grid collapsed. Power lines exploded. Orbital station Horizon was hit again and spun off its axis. Alarms filled every corner of the bunker. But the new shield timing system absorbed some of the force. Not all, but enough. "We're still here," Laura said softly, almost in disbelief. Felt hope rising. "We can withstand them. Keep working on the shield model. We will improve it." Outside the bunker, the world fought back. Soldiers in armored suits fired missiles from mountain bases. Fighter jets rose into the sky, dodging bright enemy blasts. Pilots like Daniel and Pierce pushed their machines to the limit. "They're targeting the California coast," Daniel said through the radio. "I'm moving to intercept." "I'm with you," replied. Together they flew toward the glowing shapes in the sky. The drones were fast, but the new fighters were faster. Daniel locked onto a drone and fired. A burst of metal shards shot out at high speed, tearing through the drone's hull. "One down," he said. "Two more on the left," warned. Explosions flashed like stars. The battle was fierce, but humans were learning. They were adapting. Every minute they survived made them stronger. Meanwhile, Laura and gathered more data about the weapon patterns. They noticed something strange. "The energy signature is not stable," Laura said. "It rises and falls like it's alive." Frowned. "Maybe they do not just use energy. Maybe they grow it or control it in ways we don't understand." "If we learn how it works, we can break it," Laura replied. Back in orbit, watched the battle. Sparks flew across screens as enemy ships moved in complex formations. The commander sent out another message. "Humans, your struggle is ineffective. You resist without purpose. Your species is unstable. You cannot survive our correction." Leaned forward. "This is Earth defense. We do not need your approval to exist." He cut the channel before they could respond. The next wave of enemy ships arrived. They were larger and armed with stronger cannons. They wanted to end the fight quickly now. "All forces brace," said. Once again the sky lit up with explosions. The ground rumbled as laser strikes blasted into the mountains. The shields flickered but held. It was not perfect, but it was enough. As the battle raged, Brooks and her team completed the new shield generator prototype. "We can activate it now," she said. "Do it," her supervisor ordered. The generator came to life with a soft hum. A bright field spread across the bunker, blending with the older shields. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the next blast hit. The shield glowed bright blue, absorbing more energy than before. The bunker trembled, but it did not break. "It works," said with relief. "Send the design to all bases," her supervisor replied. "Everyone needs this upgrade." The new shield system spread across the planet. Slowly, humanity was gaining ground. Officers in the bunker began to speak with confidence again. "Earth's casualties have slowed," one reported. "The enemy is hitting harder, but our defenses are adapting." Nodded. "Good. We need more time to understand their patterns. Every minute counts." Far above, the fleet watched humanity with growing interest. Their commanders knew humans were different from the species they had destroyed before. Humans were stubborn. Humans were fast learners. Humans refused to die quietly. "Adjust the assault," a voice said. "Test their new defenses. Observe their reaction." The ships changed formation again. They moved with smooth, mechanical precision. Their next attack targeted communication systems around the world. Satellite networks went dark. Radio signals cut off. The global internet failed in many places. "They are trying to make us blind and deaf," said. Laura rushed to another console. "We need a backup network, something simple, something they cannot block." Overheard them. "Use the old emergency radio lines. Those systems are buried deep and not connected to satellites. They might work." Laura and reactivated the old network, and slowly, communication returned to the bunkers and bases. "We're back online," Laura said. "Good," replied. "They will not shut us out that easily." As the hours passed, humanity fought with everything it had. Medics healed the wounded. Firefighters moved through ruined streets to rescue survivors. Families prayed in shelters. Even people with no training helped however they could. On the front lines, Daniel and chased another group of drones. "They're heading toward the power grid," said. "Not if we stop them," Daniel replied. They fired together and destroyed the drones before they reached the ground. "Nice shot," said. "We're getting better at this," Daniel replied. But then a large shadow fell over them. A massive battleship appeared from above the clouds. "Pull back," his voice shouted over the radio. That ship is too strong for fighters. And banked sharply as the battleship fired a beam that cut across the sky. That was too close, Daniel breathed. Studied the battleship on the screen. We need heavy weapons. Bring the mountain cannons online. On the ground, huge cannons hidden inside rocky cliffs rose slowly from their armored housings. They aimed at the massive alien ship. Fire ordered. Bright metal slugs shot upward at incredible speed. They hit the battleship's shield and caused a large ripple. The alien ship slowed. Again, said. The cannons fired a second volley. The alien ship's shield cracked. The enormous vessel shook violently. We can bring it down, Laura said. Everyone focus fire on that target, commanded. Missiles, bursts, and laser beams all shot toward the huge enemy ship. The battleship tried to climb back into space, but its engines sputtered. Finally, with a deep rumble, the ship exploded in a wave of blue fire. Cheers echoed across bunkers and bases. Hope spread again. That was their biggest ship, said. And we destroyed it, Laura added. Allowed himself a slow breath. Good work, everyone, but the war is far from over. The will adapt, and so will we. The galaxy watched in silence. For the first time in a long time, they had met resistance that forced them to rethink their strategy. Humans had survived the strongest attack so far. Humans were still standing. And as the second day of battle came to a close, a quiet understanding spread among the alien observers across distant stars. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was rising. And though, for the first time, hesitated. Because the galaxy had seen something it never expected. Humans fought back. And they were only getting stronger. The third day of the war began with a dark sky. Clouds moved slowly over the cities, carrying the smell of smoke from distant fires. Humanity had survived longer than anyone expected, but they were not slowing down. Their ships still circled the planet like silent predators waiting for the next chance to strike. In the command bunker, Brooks studied the new reports. His eyes were tired and his voice was rough from long hours without rest, but his mind stayed sharp. There was no time to sleep, not while Earth needed him. "What is the enemy movement?" asked. "They are gathering around the far side of the moon," an officer said. "We think they are preparing a massive assault, bigger than anything before." The room fell silent for a moment. Everyone understood what that meant. The next attack might decide everything. Laura and Carter walked into the bunker with new information. Laura held a data pad close to her chest. "Commander Brooks," she said, "we found something important." Everyone turned to listen. "We studied the energy patterns again," Laura continued, "and we believe the weapon system has a weak point. It needs a stable energy link between their command ship and the rest of the fleet. If we break that link, their weapons may fail for a short time." Nodded. "It will not destroy their ships, but it will confuse them. It might give us a chance to hit them hard." Leaned forward. "How do we break the link?" Laura hesitated. "We need to send a strong disruptor signal, stronger than anything we have built before. We will have to use a prototype generator that has never been tested in combat." Looked at her carefully. "Can it be done?" "Yes," she said, "but we need to get the generator close to the command ship, very close." Understood. This was dangerous. Whoever took the generator near the command ship might not return. "Prepare the device," said. "We will find someone to deliver it." Meanwhile, on a launch pad deep in the mountains, pilots Daniel and Pierce prepared their fighters. Their ships were scorched from previous battles, but still functional. "Another day, another fight," Daniel said, adjusting his helmet. Gave a small smile. "We're getting used to it." "I hope we don't get too used to it," Daniel said. "I'd like a quiet day again someday." "Me too," replied. They both knew that day might not come for a long time. Minutes later, they launched into the sky. Their fighters left bright trails of light as they climbed toward orbit. Above Earth, the fleet shifted again. Their ships moved with perfect coordination. Their glowing engines traced sharp lines of blue across the blackness of space. "They are starting the final formation," said as he studied the readings. "How long until they strike?" asked. "Maybe an hour," Laura replied. Made his decision. "Prepare Operation Break Chain. We will disrupt their command link before they can fire." Soldiers and engineers rushed through the bunker, preparing equipment and double-checking systems. Brooks arrived carrying a heavy case. "This is the disruptor generator," she said. "It can send a focused pulse strong enough to break the energy chain, but it must be activated from close range." Nodded. "Good work." Looked at him seriously. "Someone will have to go on the mission, someone skilled and ready for danger." Knew who it had to be. "We will use the carrier Liberty Dawn," he said. "I will lead the mission myself." Shook her head. "It's too risky." "Everything is risky," replied. "And we cannot ask others to face danger we will not face ourselves." Laura stepped closer. "Commander Brooks, you are leading Earth's defense. If something happens to you, it will create chaos. We need you here." Paused. He knew she was right. He wanted to go, but he also knew his duty. "Then we need the next best pilot," said. Looked at him. "Daniel." "And Pierce," Laura added. "Agreed. Send the orders." In orbit, Daniel had just destroyed another group of drones when the message reached them. Pierce's voice said through the radio, "Return to base at once. You have a new mission." "Understood," Daniel replied. "On our way," added. They descended back toward Earth, unaware of how big their next mission would be. When they reached the bunker, explained everything. "You will take the disruptor generator to the command ship," said. "You must get close enough to activate it. Once the link breaks, our fleet will attack immediately." Daniel nodded slowly. "What about us?" Laura answered softly. "You must escape before the disruptor pulse destroys your systems, but we cannot guarantee anything." Looked at the generator. "We'll take the mission." Met their eyes. "Thank you. The future of Earth may depend on you." While final preparations were made, the fleet began moving again. Energy built around their ships like a glowing storm. Alien observers from distant worlds watched from their hidden satellites, some recording, some frightened, some fascinated, none brave enough to join the fight. "Humanity fights harder than expected," one alien observer whispered to another. "They are not like other species. They do not give up." "Yes," the other replied, "and that frightens me. If they survive, they may become powerful." Back on Earth, Daniel climbed into his fighter. Technicians loaded the disruptor generator into a special docking port under his ship. The device hummed with unstable energy. Approached her fighter and checked her controls. "You ready?" "As ready as I can be," Daniel said. "We go in, activate the generator and get out," said. "Simple plan," Daniel replied with a nervous smile. "You wish," said. Moments later, the two fighters launched again. They rose into the sky and broke through the atmosphere. The stars stretched out before them. The huge shapes of the ships glowed in the distance. "Stick close," Daniel said. "Always," replied. They flew toward the far side of the moon where the command ship waited. Its massive body hung over the moon's surface like a giant shadow. Blue energy pulsed across its hull. "That's bigger than I expected," Daniel whispered. Steadied her breathing. "Focus. This is what we came for." Back in the bunker, watched their progress. Laura stood beside him, her hands trembling slightly. "They will make it," said, trying to reassure her as much as himself. "I hope so," Laura replied quietly. And reached the edge of the formation. Enemy drones immediately detected them. "We have company," said. "Let's deal with them," Daniel replied. The two fighters dodged sharp beams of energy. Daniel fired his and destroyed one drone, took out two more. "The command ship is ahead," Daniel said, moving in. The closer they came, the stronger the enemy fire became. Bright blue beams cut across the darkness. "Almost in range," said. "Hold steady," Daniel replied. In the bunker, readings spiked. "They're within activation distance," Laura said. "Activate the generator now," ordered. "Activating," Daniel replied. Press the switch. The generator under his ship started to glow. Energy surged out in a bright pulse. The command ship flickered. Its energy field glitched. The entire fleet shuddered. "It's working," said. "The link is breaking." "All forces attack," ordered. Human ships launched from every orbiting station, fired, missiles streaked toward the ships, and turned their fighters around. "We got what we came for," said. "Now let's get out alive." The disruptor generator overloaded. Alarms filled Daniel's cockpit. "My systems are failing," Daniel shouted. "Pull up," cried. Their ships shook violently. The energy pulse tore through the area. Lost control. His fighter spun out toward the moon's surface. Daniel screamed. Tried to reach him, but enemy fire blocked her. "Get out of here," Daniel said weakly through the radio. "I'm not leaving you," she cried. "That's an order," Daniel said. His ship disappeared behind a ridge. Choked back tears but turned her fighter toward Earth. "Command, this is Pierce," she said, her voice breaking. "The generator worked, but Daniel is down. I repeat, Daniel is down." The bunker fell silent. Closed his eyes. "Bring her home, we will not forget him." Laura wiped her eyes quietly. "He saved all of us." Outside, the fleet struggled without its command link. Their weapons misfired. Their ships moved out of sync. "This is our chance," said. "All units push forward." Humanity attacked with everything it had. Explosions lit the sky. Ships fell one after another. For the first time, they were not just losing control. They were losing the battle. And the galaxy watched, shocked. Humans had done the impossible again. But the war was not over. Not yet. The fourth day of the war began with a quiet that felt strange. The fleet was damaged, confused, and scattered after the disruptor pulse. Their perfect formation was broken. Some of their ships drifted without power. Others tried to regroup, but their movements no longer matched with the sharp precision they once had. In the command bunker, Brooks watched the screens with careful eyes. He knew this moment was important. Humanity had struck a powerful blow, but the fight was not finished. "Status report," said. An officer replied at once. "Enemy weapon output is unstable. Their energy patterns are weak, but they are not retreating. They are gathering near Saturn." Laura stepped closer. "That must be their command recovery point. If they restore the energy link there, they will regain full power." Carter nodded. "If that happens, all of our progress will be lost. They will attack again with full strength." Looked around the room. "Then we take the fight to Saturn." Silence filled the bunker. No one had ever fought a battle so far from Earth, but everyone understood it was necessary. "Prepare the fleet," said. "We end this war before they regain control." On the surface, engineers and soldiers worked quickly. Damaged ships were repaired, were reloaded. Fighters received new fuel and emergency parts. Brooks tightened a final bolt on a power conduit. "How long until launch?" she asked her supervisor. "Less than 2 hours," he replied. "We must push everything we have into this last battle." Meanwhile, Pierce sat alone in the hangar beside her fighter. She stared at the empty space next to her ship, the space where Daniel's fighter should have been. She held his helmet in her hands. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Approached her quietly. "He saved the world," said softly. "His courage will not be forgotten." Nodded, wiping her eyes. "I will finish the fight for him." "Good," said. "We need you." Soon after, the human fleet launched into space. Carriers, battleships, fighters, and repair ships all rose from Earth's atmosphere and headed toward Saturn. The journey was long and tense. Every pilot and every soldier felt the weight of what was coming. Laura and monitored data from the command center. Their energy is reforming faster than we expected, Laura said. We need to hurry. And the fleet will arrive in time, said. They have to. Near Saturn, the ships gathered. The huge planet glowed behind them, its rings shining like a giant blade of light. The command ship hovered at the center of the formation. Blue energy flickered around it as they tried to rebuild their systems. They are preparing a final strike, Laura said. If they recover their full power, we will not survive the next attack. This is our only chance, said through the fleet channel. All ships prepare for combat. As the human fleet approached Saturn, they detected them. Their ships turned sharply, forming a defensive wall. Incoming enemy fire, a pilot shouted. Blue beams shot toward the human fleet. Ships shook from the impact. Shields flickered but held. Fighters moved through the fire like arrows. Flew at the front of the fighter squadron. Stay sharp, she yelled. Hit their engines. The fighters spread out, fired her and destroyed a small drone in one shot. Explosions filled the space around them. Behind the fighters, the carriers launched heavy missiles. They streaked through the void and hit the outer edges of the formation. Their shields are cracking, Laura reported. Keep firing, shouted. Humanity pushed forward. They fought back with everything they had. Their ships fired large beams that cut through the battlefield. One human battleship was hit and broke apart in a burst of flames. Medic ships rescue survivors, ordered. Several small ships rushed toward the wreckage, pulling survivors into safety pods. Meanwhile, flew directly toward the command ship. We need to take out that core, she said. If the command ship falls, the rest will lose control again. Heard her over the channel. Pierce, be careful. That ship will have the strongest defenses. I know, said, but we do not have another choice. Dodged enemy fire and moved closer. 2 other fighters followed her. Cover me, she said. The command ship's shields glowed brightly. Strange blue patterns appeared along its hull. Their energy link is almost restored, Laura warned through the radio. You must hit them now. On it replied. She locked onto the shield generator, buried deep inside the enemy hull. Come on, she whispered. Her fired, the shot hit the shield. A bright flash filled her cockpit. The shield held. Again, shouted. Fired again, and again. Each shot weakened the shield a little more. Suddenly, the command ship fired a massive beam straight at her. Evade, someone yelled. Pulled her ship down sharply. The beam passed just over her. One of the fighters behind her was hit and exploded. We're running out of time, said. Pierce, one more shot, said. Steadied her breathing, aimed carefully and fired. The shield cracked. It's breaking, Laura shouted. All ships target the command ship, ordered. Hundreds of human weapons fired at once. Missiles, laser beams and bursts all hit the command ship. The shield shattered. Hit the core, yelled. Through the cracks in the hull, a glowing blue reactor was visible. I see it, said. She flew straight toward the core. Enemy drones chased her, but she dodged them. She fired her. The shot pierced the reactor. The core exploded. The entire command ship shook violently. Blue energy burst outward in all directions. The link is failing, Laura said. Pull back, shouted. Turned and raced away from the exploding ship. The fleet suddenly stopped moving. Their ships lost control. Some drifted, some fell apart. They are collapsing, said. The whole fleet is collapsing. One by one, the ships exploded or shut down. The sky filled with bright flashes. On Earth, people in shelters watched the news screens. They saw the explosions near Saturn. They saw the enemy fleet falling. They began to cheer. We did it, Laura whispered. Not yet, said quietly. Outside, the last ship tried to escape. It moved away from Saturn at high speed. Do not let it get away, said. We cannot allow them to regroup somewhere else. And a squadron of fighters chased the ship. She locked onto its engines and fired. 3 shots hit the escaping ship. It exploded in a bright flash. Silence filled the bunker. Took a deep breath. Is it over? Looked at the screens. No more enemy signals appeared. Yes, he said, it is over. Humanity has won. Cheers erupted across the command room. Some people cried. Some hugged each other. Some simply sat down, finally letting their bodies relax after days of fear. Flew back toward the fleet. Her voice was soft as she spoke. Command, this is Pierce. Mission complete, they are gone. You did well, said. Daniel would be proud. Closed her eyes, thank you. The human fleet began the long journey home. Their ships were damaged, tired, and marked by battle, but they flew with pride. On Earth, people came out of shelters for the first time in days. They looked up at the sky with relief and hope. Some cried openly, others knelt and prayed. Families held each other. Laura stepped outside the bunker she breathed in the fresh air. We survived, she said. Yes, replied, but we must never forget what happened. We must prepare for the future. We will, Laura said. Join them, the galaxy watched us, he said. They saw what humans can do. They saw that we do not break. Laura nodded, and now they will think twice before attacking us again. Far away, countless alien species watched recordings of the battle. Many were shocked, some were afraid, others were impressed. One alien leader whispered to his council, the humans survived they destroyed them. This changes everything. Another replied, we must speak with Earth. They are no longer just a small world. They are a rising force. But on Earth, people only celebrated. They needed a moment of peace. That night, the sky above the Pacific Ocean was calm. Stars shone clearly. The world felt quiet again. Stood alone near the ocean, holding Daniel's helmet. We made it, she whispered. We won. She placed the helmet gently on the sand. Thank you, she said softly, for everything. Near her, waves touched the shore, washing away the marks of battle. The war was over. Humanity had faced the worst enemy in the galaxy. And humanity had won. And from that day forward, the galaxy would remember what it had seen. When humans fought for their world, they did not run. They stood together. They rose. They endured. And they made the galaxy tremble.